Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Nomads. In today's video, I'm going to be interviewing an American business owner here in Cebu City. He has a digital marketing YouTube channel, and he also owns a restaurant with him and his wife. I'm here currently at One Nito Tower. This is where it's based, the location of his office, and where the restaurant is. So without anything else, let's get into the video. So the food court is actually at the basement of this building from ground floor upwards. It's all just office space. So you have call centers, anything that is business related, they're upwards. And right here, you just has a food court with all different types of foods that I'll be showing you guys in just a moment. As I already said, I was going to meet up with the famous John Smulo. He also has his own YouTube channel, as I mentioned earlier. It's more targeting the digital marketing space. On top of that, he is also a business owner of a restaurant that's back in the food lounge that I will be showing you guys after this, just to show you guys what it looks like. And I'm just going to be interviewing him and his story, and we'll just go from there. So starting off, John, where are you from originally?
Originally from California.
Okay.
So yeah, born in Southern California, but I was living in San Francisco and kind of wider Bay Area for most of my life before coming here.
Okay. So what'd you do in terms of work?
So before I moved here, I had a digital marketing company, Purple Cow Agency, that I started in California in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So originally this was just going to kind of be the back office here in the Philippines, getting work done. But when I came here to start setting up the company, I just really fell in love with the Philippines, and so kind of changed to, not just having the company be the back office for the California company, but, really helping other companies with outsourcing and different things like that.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, the Philippines, it's amazing here. Everyone that comes here that have no knowledge on it, they fall in love with the place, really.
So true.
So you've been in the Philippines for how long, and why did you just decide to come to the Philippines?
So came here first, I think it was like March or April of 2019. So that was just starting off all the incorporation papers. Mm-hmm. But I came back 6 weeks after I came here the first time. And then I came here 6 weeks after the second trip.
Uh-huh.
And then I moved here 8 weeks. January 2020, I moved here kind of permanently. And why? Yeah, it really is. I just fell in love with the Philippines and didn't want to leave. The first time I came here, when I had to go back to California, I honestly felt mad because I just didn't want to be back in the U.S. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So it took me about 8 months to be able to move here, but
you got it done.
Yeah.
You got it done.
Yeah.
That's what's most important, at least,
Yeah. So been about almost 3.5 years that I've been here full time now.
Wow. It's about to be 1 year, guys, in 2 weeks' time, but that's crazy. Wow. Wow. I love it. Now, besides the Philippines, have you traveled to other countries?
I have. So I've been to Jamaica, Mexico, South Korea, Singapore, China, Hong Kong, Macau, Thailand, Taiwan. I'm forgetting if anywhere else,
wow,
but yeah, I've been to a lot of
different
countries.
So Philippines.
But
wow.
By far, I would say every single experience in other countries I'm so grateful for, and really loved meeting the people and experiencing different cultures. But the Philippines was the first country where I felt like I don't want to leave. Like this feels more like my home than the US feels to home. For me, I think it just really comes down to who the people are. So a lot of people will say, but can't you, you know, have so much more in the US, or aren't things nicer, or, you know, aren't things more efficient? And in some ways, yes.
Yeah.
But to me, that's not really what life is about. For me, life's really about people, and I just love the people here. So, you know, I miss things like we were joking earlier, missing Mexican food and things like that. So I do miss that here. But is that enough of a reason to go back to the U.S.? Maybe.
No.
But no, definitely not.
Yeah.
So, you know, I miss Amazon. I miss a lot of those kind of conveniences, but that's not what life is about. You know, to me, life's really about the people in your life. And so that's why the Philippines for me. So, I mean, I think people here, of course, they want more.
Yes.
Of course, they don't, you know, want stress of dealing with money issues. But in the U.S., so many people are dealing with money issues as well, right? Yeah. If you look at the average amount of debt people have in the U.S., you know, people are buying stuff that they just don't got the money for, and that produces more stress. Here, I just don't see a lot of that, you know. So people, of course, everywhere in the world, I think, want more money.
Yes.
Nobody ever complains about that.
Yeah.
But I think life is not about money here. So even as a business owner here, I find that work doesn't come first, family comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. I don't know how many students or my classmates that say, oh, I have a family thing, and then they just miss a week of school.
Yeah, which is a pain in the neck for your teachers, pain in the neck for your boss at companies like mine.
Oh my God.
But I understand and respect it as well. In the U.S., work almost always comes first.
Yeah, it's
family
the
comes
opposite.
10th.
It's literally the opposite. Yeah,
Absolutely.
You're not that close with your family as soon as you probably graduate high school. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just kind of on your own, trying to make a living, just do your own thing. And Philippines, you're surprisingly enough, you're like 40 and still living with family.
And that's not weird in the Philippines.
It is not weird. It is completely normal to have all the brothers and sisters with their husbands and wives and kids living in one household. It's very common.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's very different. There's not those time frames for, you know, when you got to move out or things like that. And Filipinos know that. And, you know, I think they're too polite to say so, but I think they think it's kind of weird that we would be, like, from birth, ready to push kids out the door.
They kind of want to leave them at home.
They do. Yeah, I think they were just really happy to spend time together. And I think, you know, for a lot of people that are Filipinos that move to places like the U.S. for work, you know, quickly they meet other people in the Philippines community because they feel lonely, you know, without being around other Filipinos.
Yeah.
I don't miss Americans at all.
No.
So it's really kind of different.
Rude. They are rude. I will say that.
Yes. Yeah. So really different how people are raised, for sure.
Yeah. So what are some challenges you had to overcome living here, and not only that, but like setting up your business here in the Philippines?
So setting up a business here is a challenge because starting in March of 2019, the Philippines had a new type of corporation called a one-person corporation, where a foreigner could own a business 100%. Before that, mostly a foreigner could only own a business up to 40%, even if they kind of put in all of the cash and everything else. So because it was so new, it was a little bit tricky because, you know, government agencies were getting used to the new type of corporation. Most banks didn't even know what it was. So it took a long time, a lot of paperwork, a lot of standing in lines to make that all happen. So that was definitely a challenge. You know, work life over here is a challenge as well. And probably my biggest challenge, I think, because I have a couple of businesses over here, and learning the work culture over here has been really different. So just like family culture is so different than U.S. family culture, work culture here is so different than the U.S. And honestly, a lot of what worked really well for me with employees in the U.S. completely backfired and kind of had the opposite of the opposite impact of what I would have hoped for over here. So I really had to learn what management, what leadership looks like in a different culture. So people think through cross-cultural relationships and things like that, how that could be different. But it really is the same with business and work here. There's really cross-cultural differences, and so I figured out a lot of those things the hard way, and I love my team over here, and I'm so grateful to be working with them. But I would say that's, one of the biggest challenges. Apart from that, I don't know that I've had, really that many challenges here. Maybe getting used to the way people drive or things like
Yes.
that. It's a little bit crazy.
Now I understand why certain Asians drive the way they do in the States. Now I understand why.
It's a little bit different rules, meaning there isn't as many rules. So I kind of think, here sometimes people drive like a school of fish, where you see a school of fish, immediately they're all going to go right or left. Yeah. And I don't know how they figure that out in unison, but kind of here with driving, they all figure out how to make that happen in unison. And so that's been a bit of a challenge as well.
Now for you, do you prefer working with Americans in a business setting over Filipinos, or the opposite?
That's really a challenge because I love my team that I worked with in California as well. There's some things that I found so different here that are more challenging. But I would say for me, probably a tie. But just the things that I liked about working with both teams are really different.
Okay.
So I think in the US, we're all on the same page how we're thinking because we're coming from the same culture and the same work culture. So it's a lot easier for that to just work. Here, the team's just really a joy to work with, and it's kind of more laid back and fun. So just really different environments.
That is true. I think it's, I don't know, the island life. So they're kind of, that's what I like about the Philippines. They're not pressuring you, or in the States, they're like, you have all this pressure, like, do. Here in the Philippines, it's like, it's okay, it'll get done, It'll get done, but it'll get done.
Yes.
Like, it's very more laid back, and then that's another thing that's a huge stress reliever here in the Philippines.
But also the challenge. So, just one more thing about
Double-edged sword.
Yes. Because we're mostly dealing with clients in the US or Canada, Australia, New Zealand, other parts of Asia that don't have that laid back culture. So that's probably part of the challenge as well for me as a business owner here, is to figure out how do I work within Filipino work culture to get things done with the same level of quality and as quickly as I would in the US. Yeah.
Now for you, John, this is more personal, right? You are vegan, is that correct?
Yes, though kind of downgraded that to vegetarian over here.
Okay, because Filipinos, they love their meat, I will say the least. So for you, how did that adjustment work for you?
It's still not working at all for me. And the odd thing is I've gained like 70 pounds in 3 years living here. So I wasn't always this fat. It's the Philippines' fault. But part of that is because, in the US and maybe especially California, there's just so many vegan options where you can eat really healthy, and it's just easy to do. Here, trying to be vegan is almost impossible. So
that is so true.
Yeah, cheese is my friend again. But, a lot of those things are just fattening, the kind of stuff that is readily accessible here, pasta or different stuff like that. So I definitely haven't figured out the food thing over here at all.
So you already talked about your business, what you like and dislike about it. What about your overall impression of the Philippines? Do you like it, dislike it? What are the things that you do like, what you don't like?
So I don't like the Philippines. I love the Philippines. And for me, it really overwhelmingly comes down to the people. So just people are so friendly, kind, respectful, really a joy to be around here. And so for me, if you like the people that you're around, everything changes. In the US, I found that there was so many kind of things that you had to do or say or think to kind of fit in other people's boxes to be friends and to keep the peace. And I think especially over the last 4 or 5 years, there's just been an increased amount of polarization in the US where even good friends, married couples, families are divided over things like politics and things like that. And so it's just none of that kind of drama and toxicity over here. People disagree, of course, and people have differences of opinions on things, but I don't see that harming relationships. So I love that. I love how easy it is to travel within the Philippines, really inexpensively.
So inexpensive.
Yeah, I mean, really for probably $20 to $40 round trip, you could travel pretty much anywhere in the Philippines. We just recently visited my dad, who lives in Thailand.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
wow.
It costs like $300 round trip.
Oh, that's amazing.
From Philippines to Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah, almost anywhere in Asia, you could travel for probably $300 to $350. Round trip from Philippines to anywhere.
And that includes like your living there too? Not living, but like visiting, like hotel and all that stuff, or just the ticket?
Just the ticket.
Okay.
But still, it would probably cost more than that just to fly from California to Florida.
Oh, yes.
So it's really reasonable here for travel. For me, I think what I really like is the people, the flexibility to travel. What I don't like, it's probably things that are, more annoyances, like how inefficient some things are. I'm tempted to say to the traffic, but you know what it's like in California with traffic, so
Yeah.
I can't complain, too much because it's really terrible, there as well. But I feel for me the difference between Philippines and the US is the things that I don't like about the US are kind of like deeply problematic, issues, that I think the US is going through. The things that I don't like about the Philippines are more like irritations or annoyances. So, some are level 10 problems and some are like level 3 problems.
Yeah. Wow, that's okay. I think I can agree to that actually. Yeah, they're just more of annoyances. Us Americans, we kind of, some of us, me personally, I'm a very impatient person. So I had to learn to be patient here, especially when it comes to food service. Oh, that's a big thing. I just realized that when I first came here, food service in terms of like the waiters getting your orders and stuff like that, it's kind of backwards in a way. So what I mean by this is that, let's just say you're in a group of 5 people. You all ordered your food at the same time, and here in the Philippines, they're kind of late to taking your order, and when they give you your food, it's like individually. So like one person will start eating, and then the next plate will come out, they will start eating, and then it's just like that pattern, and then you're just waiting for the last person to eat. So that's like something that I noticed here.
Yes.
Very easy, very early on in my journey here in the Philippines. On top of that, I love the phrase "out of stock, sir." Oh my god! So those are like little annoyances. I wouldn't say like they're very deep-rooted problems like you mentioned in the States.
But I think what it is that for a lot of expats living over here, it's like when you first move over here, those type of things are just like, if you just got a little like scratch on your arm.
Yeah, that is true.
But then if it happens 5 times a day, that scratch kind of turns into a wound. So I used to think I was a patient person until I moved to the Philippines, and it helped me to see I wasn't quite so patient as I thought.
Yeah. Since I'm a student, and I know you have your own digital marketing business, do you have any ideas, side hustles, online, in person, for international students, Filipino students that they could do while they're also in college?
I think there's a lot. So, definitely in the digital marketing space, like I'm at, I think, anything that deals with copywriting or graphic design, web development, social media marketing, but also things like appointment setting or, lead generation if anybody, has any kind of sales experience. So, especially things like appointment setting isn't as difficult as it sounds, and mostly with jobs like that you're able to get a base salary plus commission. So I think there's also things like making digital courses if someone has any area of expertise, or writing ebooks. Definitely working for other companies that allow remote work. So there's websites like FlexJobs that basically just advertises jobs for work from home type of situations as well. And with those, it could really be anything in bookkeeping or accounting, or anything that could be done from home in front of a computer. So I think when it comes to side hustles, it could either be something that you're doing as a solopreneur just by yourself, or it's really even things, especially here in the Philippines, where you would be able to start kind of your own business, maybe starting off with contractors where you're paying them per job, different things like that as well. So you definitely have to look out for visa requirements and what you can or can't do. So I'd recommend talking to someone about that to make sure that you're doing everything legally. But other than that, there's really a lot of options for doing side hustles from the Philippines.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, thank you, John.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And he has a channel that'll be linked in the description, so you guys can check him out too if you guys are interested in digital marketing. So that's all his content if you guys do want to work with him if you already graduated, and then you can also come to him for a job if you guys have something of that sort that's interested in digital marketing. I will put all his information with his YouTube and his social medias. Other than that, thank you guys for watching my video, and see you guys in my next one. Bye.
See you guys.